The reason you would see a beautiful woman or a beautiful man enter into a relationship where they're highly disrespected, taken for granted, treated like shit, is because they are not self-aware enough. Because when you're self-aware and you begin to know the things that you want for yourself and the things that you really don't want, and you're very firm on those decisions, when you get into a relationship and you see that the other person is acting some type of way, you would walk out. You won't even wait for things to get bad. You just decide, like, you know what, this is not for me. This ain't right. You're going to walk out, right? And I say this boldly with all my chest. A person that hasn't totally healed from childhood trauma, that seeks validation, those are the kind of people that you find in certain situations, in relationships or marriages, that you're like, what? How did you find yourself here? What is this conversation? Yeah, every time you find a man or a woman in that situation, it is either they had daddy issues or they had mommy issues or something happened to them when they were growing up, and then they are seeking validation from their partner, and they will seek that validation to the point where they don't even mind shrinking themselves so small to the point that they lose themselves for their partners. Like, if you ever see this video at any point in your life, you see this video and you feel like, oh, this is me that she's talking about, it is because you haven't healed from your childhood trauma. Check it. I had daddy issues. Growing up, my father wasn't in the picture at all. And, you know, I didn't grow up in an environment where a lot of people were very self-aware, you know, so I sought that validation a lot from other people. Oh, when I like this person and I'm catching feelings and all this shit. I sought that validation a lot until I started knowing myself. I'm like, okay, you know what? I might not know myself well enough right now, but I know myself to the point where I know that I don't deserve this shit. Like, you can't come into my life and treat me like that. So what are we gonna do about it? I decided I wanted to take the path where I wanted to learn who I was, what I liked, what I enjoyed, what I don't like. And most importantly, when I find myself in situations where I am being presented things that I don't like or I did not like, I would be able to speak up to say, no, this ain't right. I don't like that and I don't want you to do that anymore. So now, even when the thing about the daddy issues tries to come up, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, okay, why are you feeling this way? This decision that you're about to make, is this the right decision to make? Or is this coming from a place of daddy issues, childhood trauma? Like, why is this the choice that you're making? And by the time I speak to the Holy Spirit about it, I have wise counsels, people that I can call and be like, okay, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking to do, but I need to be sure that I'm not doing this based off of, you know, traumatic experiences, and I'm doing this because this is what I really want to do. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, that's a very good choice. And sometimes they'll be like, hell no, like, you ain't doing that, don't do that. And I'm grateful for my wise counsels. Like, I'm so grateful that I have them around me. It's a very beautiful thing to see. So yeah, if you constantly seek validation, especially in relationships, and you find yourself in a situation where you're constantly, it feels like you're constantly attracting people that don't treat you right, that's because you haven't faced and dealt and healed from the childhood traumatic experiences that you've been through. The solution is to heal from it. When you begin to heal from it, you begin to become self-aware. Time to just stay away from anything relationship and really focus on yourself. Get to know yourself, get to love yourself. Most importantly, get to love the parts of you that you don't love. That's where the healing is. You have to get to a point where you're like, I don't like this thing about me, but I have to learn to love it. And the moment you feel like you have fully come to that point where you really do love that thing, then you know that your healing process has started. It's just the way it is. It's not an easy process at all. When people can tell you everything and give you books and tell you, oh, do it like this, do it like this, do it. But trust me, when I went through mine, I had to be consecrated or be in solitude for a whole year. And God saw that I was losing my mind, and He had to bring somebody to stay with me because it was a very tough process. But I'm glad I went through it because, I mean, I'm such a refined version right now. The only thing that's remaining now is for money to just slap me. Most money just, everything complete. But I thank God that I went through that process because I was a hot mess at the time. So yeah, please focus on yourself. There's no greater investments you can make. People say that the greatest investments that you can make is in people. But I like to think first that the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself first, then in people. Because, I mean, nothing is worth your joy, nothing is worth your happiness, not a man, not a woman, not a relationship. But please focus on yourself. The more you begin to spend time with yourself, the more you begin to love yourself, the more you begin to see that, oh my God, why was I not here since? How did I not do this since? Like, I love me so much. There are times when it's a struggle, but most of the time I'm here like, girl, I'm so proud of you. You've come a long way. And you should tell yourself that more often. You don't need to wait for anybody's validation. As long as God has validated you and you are validating yourself like, girl, you're the shit, you're this, you're that. Every other person validation don't really matter like this. It's life now. You better know what the hell you're doing.